my soul, but that's me. What about you?
Hi everyone, this is my beautiful wife.
My beautiful wife.
And let's eat.
And let's drink.
Yeah, drink, it's important.
About
Yeah, jump, it's for you. Jump, it's just...
That's where the spoon comes in handy, obviously.
Yeah, when we needed to have a spoon.
About just... There we go.
And the rest is for you, honey. It could be war.
I don't know if the rest.
Yes!
Yeah. That's what happens. Can't deny it. Oh, it looks like Halo. Halo, Halo.
You're funny.
It's
I want
true.
pepper. I have something with my voice. Seems like it. Can I put it a little bit here?
Thank you.
There are a little bit inside.
Told ya.
Don't eat it.
No, I don't mind. Well, I want to eat that.
She doesn't like the pepper seeds. She has something with the pepper seeds. Like, I don't care if there is a couple of pepper seeds in my food, but she doesn't like it.
I can do couple.
Okay, I can do more than couple.
He can do lots. Other far. Nice pepper.
Nice. The fish cakes. And curry sauce. Fish cakes and curry sauce.
They're very good. Funny.
Yes, I know that joke is going to get old by the end of this meal. But you know what? I'm going to continue to do it.
I do that always.
She does it all the time.
I do it all the time.
Yeah, and she really wants us to look at her every time, so...
It's funny.
I
Really
know.
funny.
No. It's funny when you do it. It's funny when I do it, but not when you are watching me doing it or other way around. I think.
I don't know.
Like,
I think so.
I think it's hilarious for myself. But
I think it's still funny. Get the seeds out.
Yeah.
Come on, seeds, come out.
I'm doing a lot of inner child work now, if you know what it is. It's like healing your childhood wounds with different exercises. So yeah, most of the days I act like small child. So that's why I think it's hilarious. She does. Actually, all of us need to do inner child work.
It's very important. Oh my god, I can't grab anything.
If you have never heard about this process, it's through meditation or other, it can be through past life regression or this life regressions, to go to the traumatic parts of your childhood or etc. and accept it, heal it, and there's different ways to do it. So yeah, so that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, I've been working on that one too. Because it seems like an adult's life, our little childhood traumas were a little. They were big to us at that point of time, so they come and haunt us and they stop us from living the lives that we want to have, basically.
Yeah.
And kind of screwing us over
This is what
here and there.
what happens when you want something, you're sure you want something, but you do the same thing over and over again and never get to the thing that you want. And sometimes you don't understand why you do the same pattern again and again and again. And this is one of the way of healing. Now, I believe that there's hundreds of ways of healing those things and transforming your life. And I believe that it can be from formal, psychology, psychiatry, work through traumas. It can be through other ways like healers, if you believe in those, psychic sometimes. It depends on your belief system and what will help for you, or even by yourself, basically.
Yeah, if you meditate and you find out your obstacles and, overcome them, that's okay too. Whichever, there's so many ways. But it's very, very important to do that.
Yeah.
That's when you feel, as Victoria said, when you hit the wall over and over again and you feel like you just, from different directions, hit the same block.
Right.
Wall.
Oh, yes, okay. So, yeah, this is what's going on in our case. And I would say, yes, I even didn't tell her yet. So yesterday or the day before, I found part of myself that extremely artistic, extremely creative, wants to create, wants to be adored and wants to be out there, but extremely fragile and extremely bruised, and any small bump on the road just devastating, and I want to cry and I don't want to do anything, and very dramatic. So yeah, this part of me that needs to be healed and loved. Because a lot of those parts we just own as adults and put them in subconscious rather than in conscious.
Very true.
And we identify only with the parts that makes us stronger, by most part. Makes us stronger. So those parts that still exist, still work and still operate, still have effect of you, we're not aware of.
Well, that's the problem, because nowadays they say, oh, you have to practice grateful exercises. Focused only on the good things, only on the positive, which is in reality not possible. Personally, we tried that and it worked for a while, but at some point it's crashing on you, because then you realize you have the parts that
don't want to be happy now. Don't need it. You need acceptance.
Exactly.
Part of yourself that needs acceptance the most. Usually those parts that you don't like the most about yourself.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean that you don't appreciate what you have in your life right now.
Yeah, I'm not thinking.
And it doesn't mean you're not grateful for what you have. But it's still, you need to identify the parts that
Integrate
in that. And if you want to feel miserable for a while, that's okay.
Not just miserable. I think we disown a lot
sad
of
or whatever.
sad or
all those emotions that we label as negative emotions, basically.
or unacceptable. Most of it, like
Because who wants to feel miserable or sad? No, everybody wants to feel happy.
or angry or vulnerable, or there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of places that we need healing. And first step is always to be aware of those. And always to accept, not to disown it, because sometimes we find something about ourselves that we don't like, and then first reaction, oh, I hate it about myself. Oh, it does not have to be there. But the reality is, it's there. It needs to be loved and accepted, and said, you know what? I know that it's part of me, and let's operate from more fullness and more acceptance of ourselves.
On the other hand, if you don't like some part of you, you can acknowledge that you have it, not to be mad at yourself and not to hate yourself for that, just acknowledge that you have that part. And if it doesn't work for you, you can decide to keep it or you can decide letting it go.
Yeah.
But the first step is to accept that it's there.
To be aware.
It is, to be aware of it and accept, okay, that's what it is. And if you don't like it, just work on it so it won't be part of you anymore. Because you can choose what to keep and what to let go. It's not like permanent.
The problem is, I found by myself, again, it's my journey, not everyone else. Sometimes it's so hard to let go of things because it's worked so long in my psyche, like for so many years. It's so hard for me to say, okay, just let go, or just, without shaming myself of having those parts. You know what I mean? Like, so sometimes I just need to sit with those emotions. Sometimes I need to express those emotions. Sometimes I need just to cry as a little baby, just to tell her that, okay, sometimes I tell her, okay, now I need you, I don't know, to make me tea. Not because I really can't go and make my own tea or can go and make my own dinner or whatever. It's just because I know that if I'll do it, I feel more tired. I feel more exhausted than I was before. And
We all want to be cared for,
yeah,
basically.
and I'm grateful that I have such a good and supportive spouse. Actually, you can do it too, like to me, to tell me like what you need really.
And it could be something small. And I can do it myself. Most of the time I do my own stuff. Well, she cooks, but I can do other
does
stuff
a lot,
around the
she
house.
does a lot of dishes, and she's
Do a bunch of laundry and
laundry
stuff.
and
Take care of that, but it's like, whatever.
But it's not
Oh, can you give me that soup? It's in the fridge. You can warm it up yourself. Oh, but can you just do it for me? That's okay.
And sometimes the way to care for a person to listen what it actually needs. Like in my case,
Doesn't mean I can get up and do the soup and warm up the soup for like 5 minutes
5
of my
minutes.
of my existence, but sometimes
Yeah.
it just it makes you feel so good that someone cares for you. It's like a little baby. Mommy, I need that. Mommy comes and give you that and give you kind of like, oh, I'm cared for,
one of time I found ourselves before, we were judging each other for those moments a lot. Until we understood how much it's important to us.
Yeah.
Because a lot of time we see in another person something that you actually really, really want to be or to act like, but you don't give the permission to yourself to do it, or you don't have the communication in your family unit to actually allow those things, to act those things, or to cry, to be disappointed, or to or just to communicate.
Yeah. Wow, spicy.
You get the spice?
And sometimes you just want to cry when you hit the spice.
Yeah.
Oh, without the spice. Oh man, wow. Exactly. So it's important to understand that, perhaps as a child, your needs were not answered to the extent that
You
needed it as a baby. You could be lying there in your crib crying for an hour and no one came for you. So now when you get adult and you want, warm me that soup, it actually heals, interestingly enough, the old wounds from the childhood when you're not cared for the way you needed to be cared for. Now to some people it might sound crazy, but actually
I was extremely resistant to eat her food. I said, "Oh, do you really need me to eat your food?"
when
Blah,
I'm
blah,
sitting
blah.
here and she's sitting somewhere in the living room.
And I like on my computer somewhere in the living room, like, really?
yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? It's already even in the saucepan. You're like,
just need to
in the fridge. You just need to take out, put on the stove, and that's it. And I was resistant, but then I understood how important it is sometimes. Just to do it, to allow to other person to hold the space for our person to do those things. as well as my coffee. She didn't get for the life of me why I sometimes ask to go to just to sit in the coffee shop and drink coffee. She couldn't understand. She said, "Why you're making your like? Do you like this coffee?" I said, "Yes, someone." She said, "Yeah, but why would you pay like $6 for coffee or whatever? And why? Because you're making at home way better coffee than they have in the Starbucks, let's say."
Yeah.
But now she understands how important it to me because it's one of the things that allow me to feel cared for. And sometimes the language is so different in between two people that it's so hard to connect to this type of language.
And different people have different
Love languages.
past traumas, right? So it's different needs,
Mm-hmm.
different understandings. It's very complicated subject.
Extremely. But on the other hand, if no one will open the door to those conversations, and I think that's why in our society we need to come together as a group and sometimes, just sometimes, to see, oh, thank you. Sometimes to sit in a group and allow the other person to be themselves. And it's so hard, especially in household when you have
Children,
people and
spouses,
children,
everybody
spouses, and
works
everyone.
so much, and kids have activities and everything, and you just one more rice.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Everybody are so busy, and you just at the end of the day exhausted, and you don't want to hear about anyone else's needs. You just want to be, kind of
Yeah, and we
left
feel,
alone in your own
and we
space.
feel that, especially if it's adult needs those, if they have those needs, it's a feeling that, oh, shoo, and spouse, I did this,
And you want something from
and you
me?
want now something from me, something else from me.
the one yogurty thingy.
But the reality is, if no, I don't. If we won't hold the place and space for each other's, for those of each other's needs and communication, we will operate regardless on the basis of those wounds. So the outcome will be the same frustration and the same again. Because now let's
More
say,
because your needs are not acknowledged again. So
acknowledge again.
So they ignite, and if you're more tired, and if you're exhausted, and had a annoying boss that made your day living hell, then those emotions will actually be even more severe, right?
Severe.
Because as a child, you cry, you throw a little tantrum, and but as an adult, those
can't.
emotions build up, and then it gets to the bad places, very dark places. It brings people to.
Exactly. So I know that there are lonely people out there. So hugs to you, and we know how hard it is. And I know that sometimes you are in relationships that not allow expression. Sometimes you yourself afraid on some level, psychological or like subconscious, to go to those places. Because they're scary places.
Very
Usually
scary.
they bring to some type of trauma. Some trauma is easier than other trauma. And sometimes you can get to really, really, really dark places in yourself. But when you
I should take it away.
let it
Go.
work through, I think. And thank you so very much for
No, thank you too.
being for me here.
Here. Thank you for me. Thank you, honey. And there's a reason why there's so much depression and anxiety along younger people, older people, along everybody. That must be contributing factor as well. Not just,
Oh yeah.
because our life now is very complicated. The events are spinning.
lonely.
And lonely, yes, very lonely.
I'm lonely. And
People are so busy they don't even take time to connect with people on the interpersonal level. It's a lot of just social media and stuff, and it's getting together once in the blue moon.
the thing is that in order to actually process and feel connected to other people, you need to be intimate with them on some level. I'm not talking physically, but emotionally intimate and open and hold places for each other. And we don't have this place for ourselves, I found. For our parts of ourselves that we disown, we deny, we don't want to be associated with them, like anger, sadness,
Yeah.
neediness. We want to be always functional, always
Happy and perky. Peachy.
peachy. Yeah, always functional, always perky, or always positive. But
Put this beautiful mask on our faces and go to the world.
we don't want the mask. Masks are.
But that's what I mean. But that's what people do, right? Put beautiful masks on their faces. Put a nice
Yeah.
smile and go to the world, right? But in reality, people normally don't. A lot of people feel just very sad and depressed, and that mask takes a lot of effort, drains them.
And I think that because we don't have this interpersonal connection, or very like a little bit, the people around us, even the closest to us, accept and love only the parts that we show them, and not the parts that
Not the real
one,
ourselves.
the bruised one, the one that we don't want to be associated with. And if someone else, if you see those parts in someone else's behavior or neediness or something, it's
Makes you
makes you frustrated because you said, okay, I'm holding all in, I'm doing what this and this, so how come you can be needy and I can't? And I don't think so. It's brings a lot of stress.
and a lot of people are afraid to show their real self, so they all hide it inside,
I know.
and that can actually eat you alive.
I think this is the biggest loneliness that you can experience, when you have tons of people around you
And you still feel lonely.
and you feel the most lonely because no one actually see you for who you are, or see into your soul, or anyone. Yeah, deep topic today. I don't know how come.
Yeah, you started with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how many of us felt that they're, the black sheep in the family, then you sit there in the middle of your family members, your
Yes,
parents,
and-
grandparents, and you're like, what are they talking about?
What I'm
Like,
doing here?
What am I doing here? How did I end up here? Because we're so different. Like their views on the world and, all the judgment that comes from judging everybody else. Like, how did I end up here? Yep. Hello.
I know. And I'm not even started to talking about complicated relationship with our parents and how, like, upbringing, yeah? I'm not going into this.
No, not today. I think we did enough. Anyway.
I want this kimchi. Oh my, it's not overly spicy. And it's not overly sour. It's in this mid-point that I absolutely...
It's good, it's not too spicy, it's actually enjoyable. Yeah, so, you know what? People, acknowledge your emotions and
let yourself to go through them. Sometimes just to face and feel those emotions and allow them to, rise up, like anger, frustration, neediness, and etc. It's already halfway or even more than halfway to the healing.
Well, right.
That's what I learned.
Yeah, first step is acknowledge that you have an issue.
Yeah,
Acknowledge
and
what's the
allow
problem,
this.
and allow it, and
It's
then
a big, huge thing. So self-care is important, and care of another person when they need the most.
yep. It's
Sorry.
very important. It's a spicy.
No, I breathed something inside. It's like one pepper flake that came to
Yeah, that's what happened to me. It was okay, and then suddenly you just kind of goes deeper in your throat, and then you're like choking.
And I even can pinpoint where the speck came, and I'm like, today I'm not. Thank you.
Thank you. Like your voice, honey. No, not really.
So yeah, thank you so very much for listening to us.
Yeah, thank you for joining
And,
us, guys. And
we don't want to preach by any means. It's just our experience and our words, and maybe it will help someone.
Yeah, we
And,
always come from our point of view of the world, and you can accept it, not accept it. You can like it, not like it. Your choice. We're just expressing our opinions.
Yeah, and I think that we want to share if it's resonate with you. Yay. So yeah, thank you so very much. We
Yeah.
love you so much.
And if you want to come back again, make sure you subscribe. Or if you're not subscribed, write us a comment, thumbs up us, and cheers. Love you, love.
And remember,
Go towards your joy.
and do something fun every day.
Exactly.
And we love you.
We love you.
And we accept you.
Exactly.
So see you next
See you
time.
next time. Bye. guys.